Hello dear students of class 9th, welcome to economics class. I hope all of you are fit and healthy. Students, in this video, I am going to start with a new chapter from your economics book. That is chapter number 4th, Food Security in India. Now this is your last chapter that is given in your book. So, food security in India. What is the meaning of food security? See, security means protection, and here it is talking about food. That means giving security, giving protection to food. Why giving protection or security to food? So that food is available to every person who is there in the country. That is why food security, we need to secure food, we need to store food for our future use, so that in case of any adversity, in case of any adverse situation, that stored food can help us, can feed us. Why do we store money? Why do we save money? We save money so that saved money can help us in the near future, right? That is why we save money, for our protection, for our secure future. If money is saved, we feel very much secure that okay, our future is secured and safe. We do not need to worry about anything. Right. So similarly, we also have to save food. So in this chapter, we are going to study about food security, that how and why food security is important. Let me give you a hypothetical example. Hypothetical means an imaginary example. Let us suppose Ram who is a farmer. Alright, he is not a very rich farmer, he is a middle class farmer, but he has a tendency to save. Save what? Save money as well as save some stock, saves the food grains for future use. He has this tendency. And one year what happened? Because of natural calamity, production was not good. If production will not be good, what will happen? Definitely the farmers will be affected. They will have limited money. So since he has a tendency to save food as well as money, during the adversity, during that adverse situation, he did not panic. Because why he did not panic? Because he was knowing that I am secured, my family is secured, we will not die of starvation, we have sufficient food, and that food can feed me as well as my family. This Ram thought, and that stock that was saved by Ram actually helped him at the time of adversity, when production was not so good, when he could not procure enough money from the market. So that is why saving is very important. Security is very important. If something is saved, then we feel secure. We feel confident that okay, if some adverse situation will also come, then also we can survive, right? So security is very important, and in this chapter we are going to study about food security. We will study that why food security is important. First of all, we will study that what is food security, then why food security, what is the need to secure food, what is the need to protect food. Then we are going to study that who are food insecure, that means who are the people for whom we need to save. Alright, what is the necessity, why it is required. Then we are going to study about food security in India, that means what is the scenario, what is the situation in India, why do we need to save food in India. Then about the buffer stock. See, there are two major components of food security. First is buffer stock and second is public distribution system. Then we will see the current status of public distribution system, that means in India, what is the current situation. Then lastly, I will explain you about the role of cooperatives in food security. What role do they play? Definitely government is playing an important role, but what is the role of cooperatives? How do they help in securing food, in protecting food? So I have given you an introduction about this chapter and what all we are going to study, that I have told you. Now, I hope the introduction part is clear to everybody. Why we are reading this chapter, why this chapter is given in your book. See, whatever chapters are given in social science, and especially if I talk about economics, they are very important. They are not restricted to only your book. That means what is going on. That means what is going on around you. That is mentioned. So, in order to make you aware about the society, about what is happening in our country, is our economy developing or it is reducing. So that is why it is very important to study economics. Alright. So I hope you got an introduction about this chapter, that what is this chapter and what all we are going to study in this chapter. So students, let me tell you in short that food security means to ensure that food is available to all the persons who are there in our country easily. Availability of food to all the persons at all the times. That means food is available, food is there in their plates. They are not dying out of starvation or out of hunger. It should reach every individual, every resident who is there in our country. This is the motive of food security. Alright, so we will start this chapter with the first topic, that is, what is food security? What is the meaning of food security? Definitely I have given you an outline, but now we will study in detail regarding food security. Students, when it comes to food security, let me tell you that food security is something more than getting food security is something more than getting 2 square meal. If you are getting meal twice a day or thrice a day, that does not mean that you are food secured, that food security is there. It is beyond that. It has a broad approach, right? I hope you remember the previous chapter, poverty as a challenge. What is poverty? Only a person who is above poverty line, that means a person is not poor. Or suppose a person who is a person below poverty line. I am telling again. Suppose the minimum level, that means a person who is on the poverty line, that means a person who is earning rupees 5,000 per month is said to be on poverty line, and a person who earns below that, or a person who earns below that refers to below poverty line, and a person who earns more than 5,000, that means that person is not poor. But just tell me, a person who is earning 5,010 rupees, does the situation change? If he is earning a little more than that, the situation will not change, nothing will change. So I told you that poverty is a broad concept. Similarly, if I talk about this food security, this is also a broad concept. Food security is not restricted to only getting 2 square meals or meals thrice a day. It is beyond that. See, food security is a broad dimensions. Food security is a broad dimension, and there are 3 major dimensions or 3 major pillars of food security. The first pillar is availability, the second pillar is accessibility, and the third pillar is affordability. That means food is available, accessible and affordable to all the people at all the times who are living in the country. That refers to food security. Now I have used 3 important terms in this definition: availability, accessibility and affordability. Now you need to understand these 3 pillars, these 3 dimensions. Why? Because this has a broad concept, and this will help you to frame your answer in a proper way, in a correct way, right? See, let us talk about the first dimension, that is availability. Availability means that food is available to all, to every person. Now, how will the food be available? Will it come from the sky? No, it will not come from the sky. Production has to be there. Sufficient production has to be there within the country. This is one source of availability of food. Then the second source is from imports. We do import several food items, several food stuff. So through import, this is the second medium of procuring food. Then third is, what is the third option? The third one is from the previous year's stock. That means that the grains that were saved last year and that is left. So these are the three mediums from where we can procure food, from where food can be made available. That means if sufficient production is there, from there food can be available. From imports, second option, and the third one from the stock of previous year. So this means that food should be available to everybody, every citizen who is living, who is residing in the country. This is the first pillar. Now let us come to the second dimension, that is accessibility. Now what is accessibility? Students, accessibility means food is within the reach of every person. Every person is able to procure food and food is available to everybody. It is able to reach every person. For example, if I talk about Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. So because of Green Revolution, sufficient production was there. Sufficient production of wheat was there. But if I talk about the dry regions like Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, then production was not sufficient. So at some places production was sufficient, it was accessible, it was within the reach of people. But if I talk about other places at the same time, then food grains were not available. People could not access food grains. They were out of reach because production was insufficient. So I hope you understood the meaning of accessibility. That means food is within the reach of every person. Alright, that is the second dimension. Now let me come to the third dimension of food security, that is affordability. Affordability means that everybody has enough money to buy sufficient, safe and nutritious food. I am saying again. Affordability means that everybody has enough money to buy sufficient, safe and nutritious and food with full nutrition. Alright, if a person is just eating wafers, that does not mean that food is available. No, food should be of good quality. It should have nutritional value. And people must have money. They should have money to buy that food. For example, food is available. A person has gone to an outlet where food grains are there. That means availability is there, food is available. It is also accessible. It is within the reach. They can definitely go to that outlet and purchase food grains. But food is so expensive that a person is not able to buy. So what is the use of availability and accessibility? That means all the three should be together. The prices should not be very high, it should not be very expensive. If it will be very expensive, then the poor will not be able to afford. So these are the three pillars, that food security means availability, accessibility and affordability of food to all persons at all the times. So I hope the definition of food security, that what is food security, is clear to everybody. So students, food security is ensured in a country only if enough food is available for all the persons, and all the persons have capacity to buy food at acceptable quality, and there is no barrier, there must not be any barrier on access to food. That means everybody should get desirable quantity as well as quality of food. So I hope the meaning of food security is clear to everybody. Now students, in the next video I shall be explaining you about the next topic, that is why food security. That means what is the requirement, why do we need food security? We do have sufficient food, then why food security should be there even if sufficient food is available in our country? So I'll explain you that why food security should be there in our country in the next video. Till then, thank you so much students. Stay safe and keep revising. Do take very good care of yourselves, and I'll meet you in the next video with the next topic. Thank you.